Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing. But no Lily. She could not stay up so late. She went to bed. So it's just me and the boys. Welcome back. Obviously, we haven't been talking about boxing as intently as we had been a few previous weeks prior, just because we haven't been getting a lot of big fights. But we did get some fights today, so that is the reason for today's live, and of course other conversations that have been popping off. So we'll get to that after this short announcement. Stay. Welcome back, everybody. Dick Justice in the house. They removed your video. I put it in my private, so if you are part of my blah blah blahs, you can watch it in my private group, because yes, they did take it down. I guess because there was a song in it. I suppose that was the reason. You know how YouTube is with that kind of shit. Even though this is a video from social media that's being played all over, so somehow I don't think the owners would be upset. And actually, I'm not making money off videos. I'm not getting money for AdSense, so I don't understand what the whole point is. But YouTube, they will let people literally show movies and brand new videos, music videos, and everything else on YouTube, and people will fucking do it all the time. And of course, that has no problem. Garden Snake Mentality's in the house. I didn't watch the fights earlier. Were they good? I'm ready for Plant Jermel Chiron card. Well, I ain't really ready for that card. Another bullshit PBC card. The one thing the PBC is giving us this year is a lot of bullshit fucking cards nobody's been asking for. I mean, literally, I don't know one PBC card that's coming up that I'm excited about. But I guess the only positive is we can say at least they're putting out more fight cards than they did last year. A lot of boxing news to discuss. YouTube acting fascist these days. It's probably because it said white excellence, and you can't say anything positive, right? Usually if you say like white pride, then it's always Nazi type of stuff. Anything white is perceived as negative, right? Always a racial connotation. So, who knows what YouTube is thinking, but it is what it is. What's up? So obviously we had that card today. Yes, my ex-girlfriend is just chiming in about what happened in Liverpool. That just shows you the problem with fucking people in this world. Liverpool wins the English Premier League football, right? This is the second time in 5 years, but the last time obviously was during COVID. So they couldn't really celebrate it. Now, of course, they ended up winning. So you could have a parade and all the fans could enjoy, something they've been waiting for 20 years for. And some fucking dumbass drives his car through the crowd, injuring a bunch of people. Luckily, nobody was killed. But just think about the mentality that some people fucking have. There's a lot of sick, twisted motherfuckers in the world. And unfortunately, many of them are LDBC people. But that's a whole nother fucking can of worms. But let's just quickly check out. They didn't list all the results. Obviously, we know that Sugar Nunez did fight today. And his fight was announced. Like, let's just check it out. Okay, the fight card is done now. Let me just share it so we can all see. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it. I wasn't sure where to watch it, and I wasn't even really aware that it was happening today. The problem with many of these Japanese cards, unfortunately, that happen midday, midweek. So it kind of sometimes catches you by surprise or off guard. So until I saw that Nunez won, I didn't even remember that actually he was supposed to be fighting today. But, that's the way it goes. I will have to watch it in replay. But as you can see here, here's the card. What's up, Garden Snake? Being a crowd, sadly, you are at risk. Well, that's amazing, right? Because there's so many dick fucking crowds in the world today, like that are really deserving to be run over by cars. People that literally are fucking stopping people's life, harassing people. This wasn't people harassing, and they weren't stopping anything. It's in Liverpool. Liverpool fans celebrating success, just like any team in the states that wins like the Stanley Cup or the Super Bowl or whatever, right? Ugh, it's just unfortunate. There's more. Obviously, the majority of people in the world are cool, open, and really, you wouldn't have too many bad things to say about probably 80% of the population. But unfortunately, that last 20%, you got a lot of mental fucking cases and some downright sick fucking individuals and all kinds of other things. It's just unfortunate because, as they say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and these squeaky wheels are the ones that get all the fucking attention. Like fucking Floyd, right? They're just celebrating Floyd's death, and it's like, example, a fucking squeaky wheel getting the oil. There's nothing a martyr about fucking George Floyd. If the black Americans are going to use somebody to represent their culture, that's probably the last motherfucker they should use. Right? In 20 years, people aren't going to be talking about Martin Luther King. They're going to be talking about George fucking Floyd. What does that tell you? Like, where have we went to? That's the person that people want to use. Ugh, mental. But here we are, that card that happened in Yokohama today, an Ohashi card. Obviously, the one fight on it that's not bad is Takai, who is the bantamweight champion for the WBO. This is the same division where Junto Nakatani is, and potentially a guy, Junto Nakatani, might fight for unification down the road. Obviously, right now there are 4 Japanese world champions in that division. Now, currently, he's 11-0 with 9 KOs, an exciting fighter, 28 years old, 5'7", with a 67.5-inch reach. Not bad for that division. All those Japanese fighters really are pretty long and tall, actually. He just came off of beating Diego Higa not that long ago in a very good win. Diego Higa, obviously an ex-world champion. He also beat Jason Maloney, an ex-world champion. And today he was fighting an undefeated fighter that is, I assume, from Thailand, who he stopped in 1 round. So, it tells you what you need to know. Obviously, this guy was an opponent that hadn't fought anybody legitimate. And unfortunately, a lot of these Thai fighters, their resumes look good, but when you look deeper, you realize they've mostly been fighting tin cans and not fighting the kind of competition that's going to prepare them for a world title fight. And that's what happened today. It's kind of like when Erickson Lubin stepped in to fight Charlo. He had never fought a top 10 caliber opponent. He just wasn't prepared for that level. And he got fucking destroyed in that fight. Kind of like today's fight with Takai destroying this guy in 1 round. Easy work for Takai. Obviously, the bigger fight that people were familiar with, especially since one of the guys that's always on my channel loves to talk up Sugar Nunez. What are we talking about? I know COVID was bad for health reasons, but I don't mind the social distancing. Yeah, don't come to Asia. Black Lives Matter defend Floyd, the same guy who went to prison for robbing a black mother at gunpoint in front of her son while his boys ravaged the house. No, I know. That's why I'm saying. I mean, nobody likes to see anybody be killed, especially on video in such a savage type of way. Obviously, that wasn't the only reason he died. Obviously, all the drugs in his system didn't help. But to now use him as a role model, I'm sure there's a lot of better people currently in the U.S. that could be the face of Black America that actually would be a lot more positive for the culture and for the youth than a fucking George Floyd. But, it is what it is. I just think it's funny when you turn into WNBA games, they're using more of this social justicing. I thought we got away from this shit when we found out Black Lives Matter was all like a fucking pure bullshit. But, people never fucking learn. Obviously, the Nunez fight was for the IBF title, a vacant title. You had 2 of the top-ranked fighters, Sugar Nunez, 28-1, 27 KOs. Obviously, this guy's got that exciting style, Mexican fighter, big power, destroying all his opponents, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. But if you'd watched him fight, you could see that he was really raw, right? And the question was, what's he going to do when he steps up and takes on a more skilled, polished fighter. And that's what I kind of thought Rikishi would be. I felt Rikishi, obviously now 16-2 with 11 KOs, stopped once before in his fight card, 5'10 with almost a 72-inch reach. I felt Rikishi would be able to sort of control the distance behind his jab, walk Nunez into his straight shots, and sort of keep Nunez at bay, just because Nunez is so wild. But the scores looked as if Nunez did pretty well and pretty much for the most part won the fight card pretty convincingly. Obviously, this happened in Japan. Japan, always does good as far as foreign fighters. One guy had it 113, 115 for Nunez. The other one had it 112, 116. And Chris Wilcox had it 111, 117. You do notice there's no Japanese judges on this. Unlike America, where you have 3 American judges for world title fights, everywhere else in the world, they actually have 3 non-fighters or 3 non-referees, right? So there is no bias. There's no perception that the fix is in. Unfortunately, America hasn't caught up with that yet, unfortunately. He is definitely not one. That's true. WNBA ratings will suck with no Caitlyn for a few weeks. Well, that's not that these people needed a fucking reality check, but this is exactly that, a fucking reality check. I don't know if you guys saw, but it was being speculated that this year, thanks to Caitlin Clark, the WNBA was potentially going to make $1 billion. $1 billion for the WNBA. That would mean their first season in over 25 years being established where they actually made a profit, which is excellent since they're going into a new collective bargaining agreement, meaning the women would be in position to potentially get more money. Thanks to Caitlin Clark, all these women now are in a great position to get more money. Thank you very much, Caitlin Clark. But yet these people still, for some reason, can't accept this little white girl being the face of the fucking sport. And that doesn't mean she's the best player, but she is the one that's grabbing all the attention. She's the one that people are actually tuning in to watch, right? The Fever are one of the most hotly fucking followed teams in American sports right now, right? I haven't watched women's WNBA since probably the first 3 years of its inception. The first 3 years when they had Swoops and all the girls, I was watching it because obviously I used to watch Reggie Miller's sister when she played for USC and obviously the Olympic team, the US Olympic team. So I always paid attention to women's basketball because I was obviously a hardcore basketball fan. And once they created the WNBA, I knew Cheryl Swoops. I liked Cheryl Swoops until she started talking. And then you realize what a racist cunt she is. And obviously, Lobo and many of the other great college players that have come through the years, I always was very eager to see how they did. But even though they came out of college with quite a bit of buzz, unfortunately, once they went into the WNBA, they disappeared into obscurity, right? And that's just the reality. Because I didn't know where you could watch games. Obviously, I lived in Taiwan as well, and games maybe weren't as available to me here as they would be if I would have been back in Canada. Maybe I would have followed more if I was still back home. But it just shows you, right, what really happened to this league. It's been surviving, but barely, right? The life signs have been fucking very weak, very weak. It looked like any day they were going to go. But thanks to Caitlin Clark, now the league is killing it. $1 billion potentially they could make this year. I mean, that's the perfect scenario for going into a new collective bargaining agreement. So they should all be saying, thank you very much, Caitlin Clark. And they need to change the style of the WNBA. I don't know if you guys ever watch the games, but they're very physical. One of my coworkers, a hardcore basketball fan, he was saying, it looks like the girls play harder fucking defense than the NBA guys do. Not so much in the playoffs, but just during the regular season. And it's true. The fouls, the fucking physicality, picking people off half court, like they're really grinding defensively. But that's not fun. That's not what people want to watch, especially casual people that watch the fucking WNBA. young girls and other people, right? Like they don't want to watch this clawing and fucking long fingernails to the eyes and all this kind of shit. They want to see a more offensive brand of basketball, a more exciting style of basketball, right? And that's what Caitlin Clark brings. Unfortunately, the rest of the players just don't really seem too inclined to play that style. They'd rather fucking play like the Detroit fucking Pistons in the fucking early 90s. Garden State Mentality says, reminds me of MJ in the 80s going against Pistons. Exactly. That's what it is, right? And they realized that if they wanted to capitalize on MJ, they needed to change the fucking rules to allow MJ to be more able to flow and entertain. And that's obviously what happened. And then basketball, NBA became this super global fucking event, right? Where they make probably more money outside of America than they do necessarily in America. Springwater boxing, what's up? I do like physicality, but I get it's not fun. And we got to talk about regular season versus playoffs. In the playoffs, we expect the intensity to pick up, right? But during the season, first of all, you don't want to play at such a high fucking pace because it's going to lead to injuries. You get so many physical sort of things where now Caitlin Clark's going to miss 2 weeks because she's injured. Like, you don't want your stars to get injured because of roughhousing and physicality. It's not going to benefit the game. Is that a picture of Tio? Is what a picture of Tio? Speaking of Tio, I was just listening to John Boxing's new video, and he was saying that he hates to be negative towards boxers because he tries to be very supportive of all boxers. And I almost fucking choked. It was like, what? What are you fucking talking about? What are you lying about? Jesus Christ. You try to be supportive of boxers. No, only black fighters. Anyone not black, you are definitely not supportive of, right? But he's trying to act like people should be hating on Tio like they hated on all these black fighters in the past because of his arrogance and attitude. The question I have is, who's fanboying for Tio? Outside of Punch Drunk Boxing, I literally don't hear any boxing channels praising fucking Tio. I don't hear anyone fucking really going to bat for him, making videos fucking every day supporting him and his dad and the stuff they push. Of course, now that there's the talk about potentially fighting Boots, and apparently Boots isn't interested in making that fight, that's making some people scratch their heads and wonder why. Because if you believe what the rumors are, and I don't know if the truth to this or not, but apparently Turkey was under the impression that that would be the next fight for Boots. Boots versus Tio. And obviously, there's been speculation about that fight even before Tio went on that New York card, right? All for the potential of building it up for a potential Boots Ennis fight. And the reality is, for Boots, I can't understand why you wouldn't take on a Tio. That really is the best potential opponent available for you. If you can't get one of the other champions, Mario Barros or fucking the other guy, Norman, right? Norman's obviously going to Japan. Barros is fighting a 48-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Then what are you going to do? If you're not going to 154 to try to become a two-weight world champion, then you should be trying to fight the guy with the most name recognition that can help build your fucking name and earn you the most money available. And that obviously is Tio, right? And the truth is, right now, because of Tio talking so much racial shit, you figure the black boxing fan would love to see Tio get his ass beat down by Boots, right? It's kind of similar to Rolly Romero. You might not be a Rolly Romero fan, but you're eager to see Rolly in a big fight where potentially he's going to get his ass beat. Kind of like Ryan Garcia, kind of like Tio, kind of like Floyd back in the day. You don't have to like these guys to want to watch them get beat up, right? And that in itself is marketable and profitable. So I don't know why Boots and his team would walk away from this. Apparently, Turkey was upset because he thought that was the plan, and that's what Eddie Hearn was pushing forward. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see exactly what the plan is for Boots. Obviously, he did come through and have his unification fight against Stanionis. Check. Now, what's he going to do now? Because he can't unify against one of the other champions unless he's just going to sit and wait for them, which would mean he's probably going to be out for what? Fucking 8 months? You're not going to fight? How is that worthwhile? Fight fucking Tio now. Let those guys fight their dudes. Everybody win, and then you can have a unification early 2026. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but once again, I'm just a boxing fan. Sounds like Boots turned down the Tio lucrative offer. That's what they're trying to allude to, and I'm not going to speculate one way or the other, because the last time we did that, Boots did exactly what he said he wanted to do. So I'll wait to see what the response from obviously him and Hearn and everybody else is. Maybe Boots is moving up to 154, Tio versus Devin now. Yeah, but see, right now, Tio versus Devin isn't even a fight boxing fans care about. Devin Haney was so negative in his last fight. I don't even know if that fight is that interesting, right? Compared to potentially what it could be, right? Obviously, if he would have looked better in that fight, then a potential fight with him and Tio or Ryan, if Ryan would have beat Rolly, would have been far more lucrative and far more interesting. But now, Tio looked boring in his fight, but at least he was a little more fucking offensive and had a little bit more, pizzazz, swag on his fight style. Devin looked garbage. Like, it was a terrible performance. And people are afraid that literally this is going to be his new style, right? And all the back and forth between Tio's dad and Haney's dad, fuck, nobody cares anymore. Nobody wants to hear these fucking dads talk. Like, the worst thing they're doing for their sons is fucking continuing to open their big mouths. Just shut the fuck up, move away. I don't want to hear fucking Devin Haney's dad lie through his teeth. I don't want to hear David Benavidez' dad lie through his teeth. I don't need to hear fucking Tio's dad lie through his teeth. I don't need to listen to any of those fucking clowns. If your son is such a fucking low IQ fucking dude that he can't have a normal interview, then be like fucking Daniel Dubois. Don't say too much. Tio is severely underpaid. Well, he's not underpaid. You earn what you're worth. And unfortunately, Tio, he blew it when he lost to Kambosos. He was right on the precipice of literally becoming something in American boxing. And then you lose to Kambosos and fucking lose all that leverage you just got from the Colme and Lomachenko fight. Then you move to 140 and you have a bunch of fucking disappointing performances after disappointing performances after disappointing performances, only to finally get a great win against Josh Taylor to go on and then have more disappointing performances, right? So the worst thing he could do is blame himself, because he's the one that just hasn't entertained, right? And people say, you're being racist against Haney. No, if you fucking don't entertain, I don't care what color you are. That's irrelevant. Irrelevant. Tio is severely underpaid. Garden Snake says, Tio versus Gary Antoine Russell. I'd love that fight. Yeah, like probably the best fight you could make at 140 pounds, a world title unification fight, right, would be Antoine Russell versus Lopez. Stylistically, that fight would fucking be good, fun, exciting. Their styles would really seem to mesh. Gary Antoine Russell is a much more aggressive fighter. Tio's a bit more of obviously a counter puncher. So, you put him in with a guy who's going to push the pressure, it's going to lead to a more entertaining fight. Unlike a fucking Puelo, a fucking Hitchens, a Devin Haney, dudes that are longer and just going to control the distance and not fucking take a risk. Who wants to see those fights? Not to dismiss them. If they get made, they get made, and a quality fight's a quality fight. But it doesn't mean you're going to be excited about it. Not every fight is the same, right? Unfortunately, some guys are such fucking mental cases, they can't understand that, because for them, it's all about fucking the race narrative. Bill Haney, Tio Sr. will need their own press conference. Man, nobody wants to hear those fucking clowns. Literally no one. If I go to a channel and those two guys are talking, I literally fucking leave instantaneously, because I don't want to hear either one of those fucking guys talk. Neither. Fuck those guys. I didn't want to hear Guerrero's dad talk. I fucking didn't want to hear fucking Danny Garcia's dad talk. Shut up. Right? Leo Santa Cruz's dad, perfect. Never said a word. Perfect. Lomachenko's dad, perfect. Never said a fucking word. Right? Those are the kind of dads I like. Anui's dad, perfect. Never says a word. He goes in there, they train their sons. Their sons do the talking in the ring and out of the ring. The dads are there to support them. They're not there to fucking try to clout chase off of their son's success. Unfortunately, these guys are fucking dudes that were never successful in their own right. So now they're just trying to fucking get fame off of their kids. And they say the stupidest bullshit consistently. Like Floyd Schofield's dad, fucking the same, right? He makes his son look ridiculous every time he opens his mouth. Like the worst thing these dads are doing are talking for their sons because it's embarrassing their sons, making them look fucking stupid, making them look fucking like duckers and dodgers, dudes that don't care about their careers. But, it's not on me. It's on them. I saw a good picture about now the four champions, obviously at 130 pounds. Where is that image? I should have made a PPT, but I didn't. And if you're on my channel, you can watch this. It's on my private channel, White Excellence. It's a great video. Check it out. But where? No. This is the one Garden Snake mentioned earlier. Here we go. This fight would have been interesting before, but for $80, it ain't interesting anymore. Hopefully they have a good pay-per-view, a good undercard, because truthfully, Plant's fucking almost irrelevant at 168 right now, and fucking Charlo is totally fucking irrelevant. Like, that dude hasn't done things in years. All we know is he's a crackhead and a fucking drunk. So what could we expect from him? Fucking nothing. But what does this say from Ring Magazine? A fight against Plant is part of our legacy. I'm down for it. He down for it. So I don't see why it can't happen. We got the same handlers. Well, Charlo, it is the fight that people are planning for fucking PBC. This is the PBC methodology. Two old fucking fighters past their prime having a fight that should have happened 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and giving it to us now on pay-per-view for $80, acting as if it's actually something we're interested in. At this point, it's unfortunately not. I don't know who out there is eager to see that fight, but I ain't really that interested. Caleb Plant's boring as fuck to begin with, and Charlo is irrelevant. Garden Snake says, Tio said Turkey fired him, and now Floyd Mayweather is backing Tio. Wayne Evans, what's up? Are you going live for the PBC card on Saturday? No fucking way. I used to be really big on Jamel Charlo, way more than Undisputed Charlo. Well, he was the more exciting fighter, right? The one with more power, more aggressive. His brother used to be much more of an outboxer. Obviously, once he got a little older, he became a little more similar to this brother. Flat-footed, a little more power. But unlike his younger brother, even though I'm not sure how much younger they are, he's never lost. His brother's arguably lost fucking twice, right? Yet people want to talk about him being undisputed. You were undisputed in a fucking weak division, and you needed how many fucking opportunities to do it? Spring Water Boxing says, it's hard to cover boxing in Asia. What time does the typical American fight card start out there? Well, I'll give you an example. Most of the cards you watch Saturday night, I end up watching Sunday morning. So American cards are not so bad. It's morning for me, so it's cool, it's comfortable. The problem is English cards. English cards start at like 2 in the morning and go to like 6 in the morning. So it's really a fucking ball bust, especially if I want to go live for those Turkey cards and Saudi Arabia and stuff, because, it's so fucking late. I'm not sleeping. I'm staying up all night and obviously it's dark and quiet in the neighborhood, so it's just hard to really get hyped and stay focused, especially if you got some boring fucking Canelo versus William fucking school fights. Like, who's gonna fucking stay awake for that fucking shit? And that overall card was pretty disappointing as a whole. Um, yeah, here we go. Here's the whole lowdown on Boots. Mind you, this is just from Tio, and we know Tio loves to talk shit on social media. But he says, boxing update. Jerome Boots Ennis has declined the fight against I for his WBA and IBF titles for the 147 pounds. His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh, is upset with this, and Eddie Hearn agreed to the fight for late this year. So this makes it out to believe that Turkey is still wanting to work with Tio to make that fight, right? And out of all the fighters that fought on that New York card, the only one that actually really performed was Tio, not Ryan and not fucking Haney. So I don't know if Turkey would really be down on Tio, except for the bullshit he talks. But I think Turkey understands fucking boxers are full of shit. They're stupid, uneducated. So you can't worry too much about what these guys say. Like, literally, most jocks are fucking dumbasses. I mean, that's always been the norm for most jocks. Obviously, there's guys that are completely not like that, really smart fucking geniuses, far smarter than me. But for the most part, most jocks fucking are moronic, fucking uneducated. Many of them can't even fucking read or tie their shoes. I was just talking to my coworker today. He went to St. Mary's, and St. Mary's is a big university in the east coast of Canada. Has very good basketball and football programs. And you know, him talking about the guys he hung out with that were jocks on these teams and how they didn't do fucking homework. Girls fucking did all their homework. Those guys never did anything. So they end up graduating from university, didn't really do anything to graduate. It's always people doing something for them, propping them up. Obviously, that's not the same for everyone, but you know, we know how it goes. When you're like those guys, you're entitled. And what's going on with this PBC fucking fight? I'm a huge Pacquiao fan, huge. But you think I'm going to spend $85 to watch fucking Manny Pacquiao fight Mario Barros? I ain't. I ain't spending one fucking dollar to watch that fight. Why would I pay for that shit? Mario Barros should be fighting Boots Ennis or fucking Norman, right? That's who he should be fighting. Manny Pacquiao? Come on, man. The fact that WBC sanctioned that fight and has Pacquiao ranked tells you everything you need to know about these sanctioning bodies. And this is what I've been telling you guys for fucking a long time now. I think I'm the only channel on YouTube that consistently fucking shines a light on how terrible the fucking sanctioning bodies are and how I'd be happy if Turkey got rid of fucking all those belts. Cut them all loose. Get rid of them all. Wayne Evans says, I'm late to the chat, so I don't know if you've covered it, but two tweeted a pic of him in Turkey and called him a dictator. Was this for a reason or just classic Tio being a douche? I think it's just classic Tio being a douche because, like, literally this one I just saw today, right? This tweet that he put here, right? This was from today. And he's not saying anything anti-Turkey there. He's just saying Turkey's mad because this fight was agreed to from Eddie Hearn. But if fights are agreed to, then we'll find out what happens. A lot of this might be a lot of back and forth bullshit just to sort of create a stir and build like some buzz around the fights. But in and above that, I mean, you know, we have to wait and see. You can't overreact, right? Because who knows what the truth is. I did see another tweet, but where did that shit go? Let me see. This is the problem when you take pictures of so many different tweets you want to comment on, and then fucking you can't find them when it's the time, the place. I don't know. I thought I took a picture. It was the 4 champions from that division from 130 pounds. Obviously, right now, you know, oh, here it is. There we go. Super featherweight champions. Lamont Roach. Obviously, Lamont Roach is probably not going to be defending his WBA title. Then you have Emmanuel Navarrete, Oshaki Foster, who apparently is going to be fighting my man. What's his face? Why does his name escape me? The Olympian. And then, of course, newly crowned Eduardo Sugar Nunez. Obviously, the one guy is probably going to give up his belt, Lamont Roach, which means the Russian guy that I've been hyping up, Batsiagav, is probably going to get an opportunity to fight for that vacant title. So then, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, the one guy you can give props to is Oshaki, him fighting ex 126-pound world champion in what should be a really good fight. Stylistically, I think those guys, they obviously both have skill, but they also have aggressiveness. They've Oshaki Foster could potentially be a much more boring fighter than he is, but generally he gets pulled into more entertaining fights and gives up his advantage. And the guy he's fighting, Raymond Ford. Raymond Ford obviously is a great opponent. Raymond Ford was in some really entertaining fights at 126 pounds. You throw him in with Oshaki, I think that fight's going to be dynamite. And that, I don't know who's going to be promoting it. I think Oshaki is a top-ranked fighter. So I assume it's going to be a top-ranked card, but don't hold me to it. Who knows how all that's going to pan out. But that fight's exciting. The fight I was eager to see was my man from 126 pounds, Espinoza, move up and take on Navarrete. I think Navarrete Espinoza would be a classic Mexican on Mexican fucking showdown. That fight could not be entertaining, right? It just has to be exciting. And then that leaves you Sugar Nunez. Obviously, right now, potentially Sugar Nunez versus Navarrete for unification. That too would be a super exciting fight. Two guys, very fucking hard punchers, both awkward, both really raw, skill wise. But you throw them in the ring, it's going to be fucking, danger. Somebody's getting knocked down, and somebody's probably getting knocked the fuck out. So that's a good fight. I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens. Where's the rankings currently at that weight class? Let me just find those, and we can look a little deeper. There we go. There we are. Obviously, Eduardo Nunez, now the champion. Rikishi lost. Here you have Lamont Roach with interim champion Albert Batagayev. Batagayev's a very skilled, very good fighter, gold medal winner. But in his last fight, the fight that I talked about a few times against Neri Romero, he fucking looks vulnerable like crazy. The dude looks like he's got no chin. Super skilled, got some good power, but man, he's like Amir fucking Khan. So I don't know long term what I can hope to expect from him, right? Because his chin just looks really fragile. But still, he's a great fighter. I like watching him. So it'll be interesting to see him step up and take on any of the opponents underneath. You got obviously Tatsumi's brother, who's the number 4. I'd love to see Batagaya fight him or any of the other Eastern European fighters that are in the top 3. Oshaki obviously is going to fight Raymond Ford, his number 4 ranked opponent. That is easily the fight I prefer, right? Maxaya, Foster, okay, it's not a bad fight, but I would rather see Maxaya fight Eduardo Hernandez, right? I think stylistically that'd be a far more entertaining fight. Obviously, Navarrete just had that controversial fight with Charlie Suarez, and that's going to be, for probably the most part, the mandatory sort of rematch between the two of them. I think the WBO is probably going to force that fight to happen. And truth be told, it deserves to happen. Obviously, we know that Charlie Suarez created that cut from a punch. The ref didn't see it. And so, he definitely deserves a rematch and an opportunity to redeem himself, kind of like Lamont Roach against Tank Davis. Wayne says, I think America wants to see Tio get his ass beat for his racial antics. Exactly. That's why I can't understand why Boots isn't jumping at the chance to take on that fight. Because if I was Boots, this is the biggest money fight you have available to you, the biggest name opponent you have available to you, and probably the most exciting fight because there's going to be such a fucking feel for it, right? Black America is going to be behind you hard, wanting you to like beat Tio's ass down hard. And then I guess Latin Americans that do support Tio, obviously not all Mexican Americans support Tio because he's not Mexican, will be supporting him. People that are just racist may support him based on that. I don't know if that would be enough to generate them to support him. But I think it'd be a fun fight. Obviously, the back and forth between them in the press conference would be interesting. But, when they do the standoff, it's going to be pretty ridiculous. Tio's a short ass, and fucking Boots is a pretty fucking big 147-pound fighter. A guy who could easily, seamlessly slide over to 154 pounds tomorrow and probably be better because he'll be at more of a comfortable weight. A guy that can easily eventually move up to 160 as well. Whereas Tio can't, I think, really move to 147. Not like Ryan and Devin Haney. Ryan and Devin Haney are bigger men than Tio. So naturally, they could put on a little more natural weight, natural muscle, and move to that weight class a little more comfortably. Tio's a guy that should remain at 140. That's his top end, I think, unless you cherry pick a 147-pound fighter that's not really big, right? Wayne says, I'm surprised he hasn't got smacked like Charlo did. Well, that's inevitable, right? Inevitable. You know it's going to happen sooner or later. Sooner or later, some brother going to fucking step to Tio and fucking slap him in the mouth, right? Like, that won't be a surprise to anybody. Not to me, at least. I'm just surprised JB was so anti that fight, acting as if the only person who's going to benefit from that fight is Tio, and that Boots Ennis isn't going to benefit. I'm like, how is Boots not going to benefit? It's the biggest name on his resume, the biggest payday of his career. I mean, isn't that exactly what he wants at this point of his career? Stanionis was a unification fight, but Stanionis is not fucking as well known as fucking Tio, not as accomplished as Tio, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Jay Cool05 says, I frequent a lot of Mexican channels and boxing servers. They seem to be behind Tio. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't follow too many specifically Mexican YouTube channels or anything of that nature. So I'm not sure what the word in the street is. But I do get the feeling that for the most part, a lot of real Mexican boxing fans aren't huge Tio fans, aren't huge Ryan Garcia fans, and aren't even huge David Benavidez fans, right? Because they're just not really Mexican. It's kind of like when Danny Garcia went to Puerto Rico and tried to play his Puerto Rico card, but that shit just did not fucking pan out. Wayne Evans says, Keyshawn punched Tio Sr. I would have loved to see that. Plus, if Tio and someone punched my dad, it's on site. Well, I don't know why Tio wouldn't fucking go at Keyshawn if that was the case. Like, I know Keyshawn's boys and brothers are there, but it's not like they're going to fucking gang up on you, I wouldn't think, in a gym. What would happen is they'd probably fucking throw you in the ring and let you handle it like men, right? And Tio's dad, when you're in a gym full of brothers, you probably shouldn't be fucking throwing around the N-word, right? Because you never know how some of these sensitive motherfuckers are going to handle it. And yeah, that's what it is. Because in truth, the amount of slang words and terrible things you can call people, there's only one group of people that really fucking makes more out of it than anyone else and actually uses that word for profit as well. And that's Black Americans, right? Like, you fucking demystify the word by using it in pop culture. And then you get offended when people use it every day. but you're the ones who demystified it. You're the ones that put it in fucking songs, made money off those songs, fucking used it to fucking, push swag in the streets and fucking roll in the cash. And now you get offended when people use it. Like, you're to blame, literally, right? You don't hear a lot of fucking South African black rappers or singers going around fucking using the word fucking kafa, right? Which is the equivalent in South Africa. Apologize if I offend you. I'm just trying to make a point. Anybody that may be offended from using that word. It's ironic because it was once in a Mel Gibson movie back in the day when South Africa was, under apartheid. But for black South Africans, using that word is similar, right? You don't hear black South Africans using that word to demystify it in fucking rap songs and songs fucking to make money in South Africa. It's not being popularized in the country. I mean, I brought it up in my office, and I have tons of Swazis and South Africans that work with me. Like 80% of my office is Swazi and South African. So I brought it up just to see what people's feeling would be towards it. And some people didn't even know what I was referring to because it's not used. It was a word that was used in the old days by racist South African whites during apartheid, but it's not used today for the majority of people. But unfortunately, the N word, that word gets fucking used constantly. And, you don't let this word die because you keep it alive. That's my opinion. People may disagree, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. I don't think Boots cares about being a superstar. You never hear from him when he doesn't have a fight lined up. That's true. In that sense, he's a lot like Bud Crawford, right? He doesn't really help build his name up. He's not on social media. His dad as well. His dad will talk in an interview, but obviously doesn't go out of his way to be interviewed. I like Boots, and I never fucking hated on people for doing that, like Bud Crawford as well. But then you can't be crying about not being more famous if you don't help make yourself more famous. Bud Crawford made himself more famous once that Errol Spence fight was available, and then post that Errol Spence fight video all over everywhere, on the scenes for fucking videos, doing interviews, constantly under the camera. He didn't do that early on in his career. He did it now because he realizes that's what's going to get him paid, and he's getting paid. So it's working. Congratulations, Bud Crawford. Eventually, Boots will be in a similar position. But this fight against Tio and Boots just seemed like a no-brainer to me. I mean, in my opinion. Let me know what you think, guys. But yeah, I think those are some interesting fights at 130 pounds. You even got some good young fighters in this division growing up as well that I'd be eager to see. Obviously, we just had Angelo Leo defend against Tomoki Kameda last weekend in a very close competitive fight. You have Coelho, the Argentinian fighter, who's now mandatory for Nick Ball. That kid's exciting. That would be a great fight. Omar Trinidad, who fought the other weekend, moved right up there, probably putting himself in position to be an Angelo Leo mandatory as well. Bruce Carrington is right in position now to take over Stephen Fulton's title. We know Fulton is going to move up to 130, meaning that Bruce Carrington is probably going to fight who? Carlos Castro or somebody similar for that vacant title. Obviously, he's a mandatory for Espinoza, but it looks as if he's going to go for the vacant title and not push for the in-house fight, and that's fine. If he becomes the WBC champion, Espinoza is the WBO champion. They're both with Top Rank. Now what we get is a perfect opportunity for Top Rank to make a unification fight between two of their own fighters, Carrington and Espinoza. Kind of similar to 135 pounds, where we know, there we are. Raymond Muratalla is in position to become the champion if Lomachenko retires, meaning that we could get a Raymond Muratalla versus a Keyshawn Davis unification fight at 135. And that's fire as well. I'm super down with that. Hopefully it happens because I would love to see that. And it's great for Keyshawn Davis, right? That's what he needs, fights like that to just continue to build up his name. He's an exciting fighter. So I think it's not going to be long before Keyshawn Davis is a pound for pound fighter. It ain't going to be long now. But yeah, let's look at some of the fights that are being talked about coming up soon. This weekend, obviously, we have a few big cards. On the Friday, this card is not one that people maybe are talking so much about on DAZN, an Oscar De La Hoya promoted fight, but it's a pretty good fight card. I'm excited, actually. Where is it? Let me just remove that so we can remove what's going on. Where are we? There we are. Darius Fulgrim, 14-0 versus Bek Melikuziev, 15-1. I think this is a fucking dynamite fight. Dynamite. Fulgrim, pretty exciting fighter, 14-0, 12 knockouts, 28 years old, right, from Texas. This kid looks good, man. He hasn't had any huge step-up fight right now, right? You look at the people he's been fighting, not bad. Alandis Fox, he beat him by majority decision. Beat, obviously, Vaughn Alexander, Devin Alexander's brother, who's the kind of guy everybody ends up facing. Just ended up beating Wilfred Harris Jr., a guy with a good record, 22-2-2, stopped him in 4. Now stepping in to face Bek Melikuziev, 15-1, 29 years old, 10 KOs. Obviously, people remember him mostly back in 2021 when he had his big step up against Rosado, and Rosado knocked his ass out in 3 rounds. Only to get redemption in 2023 when he ended up beating Rosado by unanimous decision. Beat Fox, stopped him in 4 rounds, and obviously now has the fight with Fulgrim. I think this is a very exciting fight. You know, I think somebody's definitely fucking going to get put to sleep in that fight. Definitely. And I'm down. What was my prediction? I think I predicted Fulgrim to win that fight. But what do I know? I predicted Rikishi to win today as against fucking the Mexican fighter. Where's my predictions? There we go. So I had Rikishi by split decision, Takai by 8th round TKO, Cole, MJ, and Fulgrim by 7th round. Priest by what's fucking 8 AS? I think it must mean split decision, and I fucked it up. Plant by majority decision, Charlo by split decision, Moten by 2nd round TKO. So those are my predictions this weekend. But I think that fight's going to be good. I know it's going to be a card no one talks about, but I just think that potentially is going to be the best fight of the weekend, for sure. Gold Garden Snake says, Abdullah Mason beats Jeremiah Nakatila. Is it time for a real beast like K, Cruz, Loma next? Oh, I think that's jumping up too quick because Nakatila is not even a top 10 135-pounder right now. If we look at the 135-pound rankings right now, right, Abdullah Mason is number 2 at the WBO, right? So in front of him, Sam Noakes is there. I mean, Sam Noakes, Abdullah Mason, that's a great fight. Obviously, I think he destroys fucking Noakes, but Noakes is an undefeated fighter. He's got some English fan base behind him. You have the Cuban fighter at number 5, Jadio Herrera. Jadio Herrera versus Mason would be a great fight as well. For the WBC, Mason is number 4. Noakes is in front of him. Andy Cruz is number 1. Obviously, Cruz is probably just going to wait for an opportunity to face Shakur, whereas he... Okay, those are the 2 rankings where he's pretty high, WBC and WBO. He's number 15 by the IBF. And believe it or not, he's not even ranked by the WBA. But then again, the WBA has the worst fucking rankings in fucking boxing. They got a guy, Maxie Hughes, at number 4, a guy, Fred Demil Macayo, who I've never heard of at number 5. At number 6, Armando Rabi at number 6. My man from Canada, Lucas Badeye at number 7, right? Isaac Cruz, who's not even in the division anymore, at number 8. Isaac Cruz literally is a 140-pound fighter, but they want to make sure they keep him there just in case they want to do another Tank Davis rematch. And fucking Roger Gutierrez at number 14. Fuck me, man. Terrible fucking rankings. WB fucking BA. Garden Snake says Moses Atama is another one. I feel like he is going to get another can next. I think his next fight is going to be against a better opponent. I think the only reason this past opponent wasn't very good is because it's just hard to find the right opponents for him. But I definitely think his next opponent is going to be a solid opponent, right? A guy that potentially can give him rounds. But those two guys, easily the best two prospects in boxing today. The American fighter, Mason, the UK fighter, Atama, fuck. And Atama looks great. So does Abdullah Mason. Jaime says, that's a good fight. Rick Porco says, I hope Inui doesn't duck my boy, 2-division champion, Angelo Leo. Oh, my God. Angelo Leo, stop, man. Like, Angelo Leo is so lucky to fucking walk out of Japan with that title. He could have easily lost that title. If that would have been fucking Kamada in fucking the U.S. fighting Angelo Leo and he was the champion, the shoe wasn't in the foot, he totally would have got robbed by the American judges, right? Totally would have got robbed. Like, this is the guy people, True School tries to talk about being this great fighter. It's like, come on, man. The dude ain't that good. Inui will fucking kill him. Because there's no doubt Inui would fucking stop Kameda inside 6 fucking rounds. No doubt. No fucking doubt. If Inui went to fight Kameda, people would be calling it a cherry pick and would be hating on it. Angelo Leo goes to fight this guy in Japan. No one fucking cares. No one paid attention. He fucking was lucky it happened in Japan because nobody really saw what a poor performance it was. I tried to watch that fight. I couldn't even fucking watch the whole fight because it wasn't interesting. That's what happens when you fight Kameda. Kameda is not a fun fighter to watch, but they're the ones that made that fight. I could have told you it would have been an ugly fucking fight that would have went the distance. Do all the sanctioning bodies have a regular title baby belt like the WBA? No. Obviously, the WBC tried to create one, but the WBA is the only one that has one. Now what the other people do is this interim champion, which is basically fucking similar, right? I mean, it's not a baby belt, but basically it's a fucking baby belt. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, that's exactly what it is. But this Fulcrum fight, I think that's going to be good. What other fights on this card? Eric Priest, 15-0, 8 KOs, 26-year-old American. I remember watching him fight, but that's the fight against Tyler Howard, who's an overrated bum-ass opponent. He beat him, and now he's going to fight Luis Aries. Not a bad opponent, but Luis Aries hasn't been relevant since when? Since he faced fucking, I think Daniel Jacobs back in 2017. After that, you faced Rosado, Luke Keller, who even remembers him. He beat Jared Hurd, which tells you how fucking washed up Hurd was. He beat Vaughn Alexander. Everybody beat him. And then fucking in 2023, Erickson Lubin used him to build up his career once again. Priest, if he's got any sort of skill set whatsoever, should totally win that fight. It shouldn't be that difficult, but you never know. Outside of that, I don't know who else is on the card worth paying attention to. Fulcrum, that's my boy. Fulcrum looks good, man. I think that's going to be a good fight. Solid. Beck Malakuziev and Fulcrum, nice. What other fight card? Oh, the PBC. I guess we got to talk about this, but I look at this card and I think Carmel Moten is fighting a bum, some kid that's 4-1-1. Like, Carmel Moten's now 7-0. and you're fighting dudes that fucking are 4-1-1. I don't know what they hope to do as far as developing him fighting that kind of opponent. Isaac Lucero, 16-0, fighting a nobody. Jonel Hernandez, the Cuban fighter, against Kyron Davis. I think on the PBC fight card, that is easily the best fight. This tough Cuban, 7-0, 7 KOs, right? 6'2", 27 years old, highly claimed amateur. Where's his amateur resume? 61-12, right, as an amateur. Who are some people he beat? Any names that we know? Nobody that pops out to me, but lost to Arlen Lopez. Sosa, the Brazilian fighter who's making quite a name for himself right now in the pros. Despaigne, another Cuban fighter. Yeah, lots of Cubans. And then, what's his IBA record? 1-0. He fought somebody I don't know in Abu Dhabi. But overall, I think this is going to be a good fight. Hernandez versus Kyron Davis. We know Kyron Davis. This dude ain't no joke. He's serious, solid. 19-3-1, stopped once. No power, but a tough fighter. Lost to David Benavidez, his only stoppage loss, 7th round. Went the distance with Anthony Durrell. Recently, he just fucking beat Elijah Garcia in fucking a huge upset. Elijah Garcia, who I really liked and thought potentially was the future of the PBC. And then Garcia has basically lost his last 2 fights. I know he didn't lose his last fight, but for all intents and purposes, he lost that fight to Terrell Guasha, and he lost to Kyron Davis. But to be fair, oh my God. Stop. To be fair, I mean, I said, you throw this kid in with Kyron Davis and then Terrell Guasha back to back, you're not doing the kid any favors, right? You're putting him in tough, putting him in hard. Laugh out loud. Is that what I said? Good morning. 7 o'clock in Cali. What's up, Chicano U-turn? I lost money on Kyron beating Elijah Davis. I think everybody lost fucking money on that shit, right? Who would have expected it? Kyron Davis is good, solid, the kind of opponent you think Elijah Garcia should be put in with, right? A solid test, only to lose to him and then get thrown in with a better opponent in your next fight, right? Like fucking the PBC, man. They're trying to kill him because Terrell Guasha is a better fighter than Kyron Davis. I thought coming off of a loss, you throw the dude in with that opponent. And remember this card. They had Funduro fighting Cordell Booker. So the world champion had an easier opponent than the guy coming off of a loss. Fucking Jesus Ramos had a bum-ass opponent, a far easier opponent than the guy coming off of his first career loss. It's like, man, they're not taking care of this kid at all. Who else is going to be on this fight card? Charlo versus Thomas Leman. I don't really fucking care. I didn't care when fucking Lara fought this guy. How do I care now? Like, that was 2021. I haven't cared about him in the last 4 fucking years. So, at this point, I don't give a shit. Caleb Plant against Jose Resendez. This kid lost to fucking Elijah Garcia. He got stopped by Elijah Garcia at 160 pounds. Now he's going to go up to 168 pounds and fight Caleb Plant, as if anybody fucking is interested in that fight. Yeah. This is the problem with the PBC. They give us these fucking fight cards that aren't fucking interesting. Even on paper, they're not interesting. They might turn out to be good fights, but like, you look at that card that was in New York with fucking Ramirez and Haney. Fucking what's his face versus Tio, and Rolly versus Ryan. All three of those cards on paper looked fucking like really great fights, solid matchups, right? When I was breaking down those fight cards, I talked about how I could see every top guy potentially losing to their opponent, right? I don't think they're going to lose. Maybe one would lose, but I could see how all of them potentially could lose. But on this card, you think Charlo's going to lose or Plant's going to lose to these opponents? Fuck no. We know what it is. Cherry pick opponents. Also, you can fucking do Charlo Plant in an $80 pay-per-view. And the truth is, after watching this fight card, probably nobody's going to give a fuck about watching Plant versus Charlo in an $80 pay-per-view. Really. With Moten fighting a bum-ass opponent on the undercard, which is probably what's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think there's anything exciting about this. The only good thing I can tell you is, actually, I might go live because it's on Amazon Prime, which means I can watch it on my TV. Sweet. Even though, fuck, I don't know how excited I'm going to be. Like, who are these other guys in the fight card? Carl Martin, 25-0. I can tell you, I don't know who the fuck this Filipino kid is. 25-0 with 20 knockouts. I've never seen him fight. I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. Isaac Lechero. I've heard of him, but I can't even tell you if I've actually seen him fight. I may have watched him fight, but when I look at the opponents, nobody rings out to me that I remember. And he's going to fight some no-name opponent, so it's not even going to be a competitive fight. Daniel Blancas, 12-0. I don't know who that kid is. I've never seen him fight. Like, you guys let me know. Who on this PBC card are you really excited to see fight? Just let me know. Any of these undercard fighters, are you intrigued by? Chicano U-turn, what's up? What's up? Holmes? Like, I know this card is free, so they're not going to put like a very good card together. But man, like, you're definitely not putting a good card together. There's nothing interesting about this card at all. Moten, like 6-0, 7 KOs, 18 years old, the next Tank Davis. He's fighting this kid. 4-1-1, 2 knockouts, 28-year-old Cuban. Oh, okay, he's Cuban. So actually, he might not be too bad, considering he's Cuban. But let's look at the level of opponents he's fought. He just beat a guy that was undefeated. He had a split decision to a guy that was 5-0-1. He lost to a guy who was 5-0. He beat a guy that was 6-0-1. Oh, in truth, okay. Maybe I'll be a little more positive towards this. He's literally fought 4. Now this is his 5th undefeated fighter in a row. A majority loss, 6 rounds, super competitive, and a split decision draw, also obviously very competitive. So you're fighting good fighters, undefeated, and you're having competitive fights with them. So maybe he'll be able to give Moten some rounds. Maybe. The guys Moten's fought prior to this, 5-1, 4-5, 5-2-1, 8-9-1, 7-0-2, 3-0, 4-0, 1-2. 2 fighters that are undefeated. So literally the guy he's fighting has fought better opposition than Moten has. So maybe he's going to be game. He's also Cuban. So, he's probably got good skill set. You think Indy can handle Oak City? I think it's going to be a good matchup. I mean, Indy obviously has a deep bench as well, very similar to Oak City. I think they match up well with him in the guard positions. And big men, I think they're better. I think Siakam is better than anybody that Oak City has. And Turner could be better, but the problem is he plays too soft. Obviously, he's a good 3-point shooter, and he can stretch the floor. Physically, he's a physical specimen as well. And then you have some guys off the bench as well with some size. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's something that I don't mind watching. But we will see what Lou Dort and the defense does to Halliburton. Because Halliburton has been fucking on fire. People said Halliburton was the most overrated fucking all-star. And he's fucking taken those words and fucking carried them. And he learned last year because last year's performance was very disappointing. But this year, he's killing it. Killing it. He's playing more impressive than SGA, in my opinion. Do you agree with Bob Arum that Turkey has to stop telling these fighters you are going to get the big bag in your next fight, like Canelo versus Bud, Devin versus Ryan, because they are going to play it safe? Well, I think what you got to tell them is this is potentially the fight you have next if you earn it, right? You're not guaranteed fucking anything, but this is what we're looking forward to, right? This is what we'd like to do. But, obviously you got to make it marketable. If you don't make it marketable, I ain't going to fucking make the fight. That's all I think he's got to do. You just got to make sure that these guys understand you're not guaranteed fucking anything. I'm not giving you money for nothing. So Ryan Garcia fucking, even if he would have got the win versus Rolly, I wouldn't have necessarily made the fight with him and Haney the way they both looked. Because who fucking cared about that fight? Now in hindsight, when people said they should have just made that fight right off the bat, it's probably true. They probably should have, right? Before we saw how shit they both looked, right? They probably would have been more marketable. Now, after we saw those performances, nobody's eager. The fight before, why will these fighters risk an even bigger bag? Well, because they're not guaranteed the big bag. You got to earn the big bag, right? I think SGA is going to be the first player since Shaq in 2000 to win finals MVP, and scoring title all in the same year. Maybe. You were rooting for Cleveland until they got beat. Mind you, they had injuries, right? They weren't a healthy team. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. They did not go into the playoffs where they needed to be competitive, right? I thought they added the depth they needed to be even better than last year. But unfortunately, if you're coming in with injuries, it is what it is. I stopped watching the NBA a few years ago. I just started watching again, and SGA is apparently a top 3 player in the league. Yeah, he is one of the top 5 players in the league for sure. But the problem with SGA, he's like the modern version of fucking Harden. Boring as fuck, right? He fucking goes to the line too much, creating fucking tippy-tap fouls by stretching under people's arms and creating contact. It is what it is. I didn't like Harden as a player. SGA is Canadian, so I like him more, but I'm still not a big fan. I prefer Ant-Man. But unfortunately for Ant-Man, the defense has fucking shut his ass down. Shut his ass down. This was his opportunity to make a statement. But unfortunately, the biggest statement he's making is getting fucking women pregnant. He's like the new version of fucking Sean Kemp, right? Put a condom on, dude. Like, how many fucking baby mamas you need out there that you got to fucking be paying money to? Like, dude, man, stop being a fucking idiot. You can have your fun, the expression, you can have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't mean you got to fucking shove it in the toilet and fucking eat it out with a spoon. I just don't want to see them earn it like Devin did versus Ramirez running away, trying to engage. Well, Devin didn't earn fucking anything because I don't know what he's going to do next. I don't think Turkey's fucking eager to give him shit. It's wild knowing SJ is the only NBA MVP to play for Kentucky. It's crazy, eh? I was going to make a video on my basketball channel. I have the thing, but I forgot. I haven't done it yet, but hopefully I'll do it soon. Zion and Ant. Those two should have been the fucking face of the league, man, right? Unfortunately, Zion's a fat slob who's undisciplined, and Ant is just too busy getting everyone fucking pregnant and talking a big game. But when you're talking a big game, SGA is fucking getting better and better every year. Yes, SGA is Canadian. Represent. I mean, Canada got a lot of good guards. Unfortunately, we got no big men. We got to do what the States did. We got to fucking get an African to get fucking Canadian citizenship. What does that tell you about the States? That their best big man is fucking African. Duke never had a player win NBA MVP, I think. Probably the one that was in position most likely to do was Grant Hill, right? When he played for Detroit. Outside of that, Elton Brand was good, all-star, maybe first-team all-star, but never MVP. Zion could have, but unfortunately, he ate himself out of the fucking NBA. Dumb motherfucker. They need to trade his ass to a fucking another team, and maybe that will regenerate him. They need to trade him to LA to play with Luka. Those guys, if nothing else, they could be fucking the hot dog champions, right? Hot dog eating champions of the NBA. But yeah. All I know is SGA is another non-American to win the MVP. Which Americans won the MVP in the last fucking 5 years? Zero, zilch, nada, not a fucking one. Joker, Embiid, Giannis, SGA. Joker. So last 6 years, that's it. Jamal Murray is also Canadian. Yes, he is. Zion was in his physical prime in high school. Yeah, unfortunately, some dudes are like that, right? They're just physically primed in high school, dominating, destroying people. They come to college, they could do well, and then unfortunately, by the time they get to the NBA, they just shot their load. The last 9 MVPs haven't had any tattoos. Doesn't Shea have tattoos? Really? Dave Allen is going to fight Wilder, I was hearing. Once again, who cares? I mean, it tells you where Wilder's career is, that he's fighting Dave fucking Allen. Woo! Wilder, fucking great American heavyweight. You see that narrative recently that they're saying, yes, Turkey said we got to have a black American heavyweight. Does he have to be American? Oh, sorry, he said black heavyweight. Did he say black American? Because I think we got a black heavyweight champion, Daniel Dubois. Potentially, you got Moses Atuma, who's also black and definitely UK. And I would not be surprised if he dominates the heavyweight division for the next 10 years. That would be big in the UK. Not visible, laugh out loud. What's not visible? Oh, his tattoos. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he's got fucking tattoos. Sean, give a bomb squad a break. I don't, as I said years ago, as a person, I don't mind Deontay Wilder at all, right? Anyone that strong family bond that he had, I'm down with him. I'm cool. But when he started being that fucking wrestling, fucking WWF, bomb squad, and all the rest of that bullshit, and then fucking Black Power movement, and fucking joining with the LDBC, it was like, whatever. Fucking clown. Like, we understand you're just trying to make money. You know, it's no different than Tio right now, fucking saying stupid bullshit. That's what Wilder was doing, saying stupid bullshit that he don't believe. Like, if this guy really down with fucking the cause, what's he doing now that he's fucking got free time? Not a fucking thing. What's he ever done for fucking black Americans? Not a fucking thing. The dude's got millions of dollars. I don't see him doing anything. at least not visibly. Maybe he's doing something in the down low. But if that's the case, then why are you so fucking out there beforehand? Talking about you want to take a body. Yes, of course. George Floyd, we want him to represent the people. And then we want to take a body because that's exactly what we need. Mark Breland, disrespect was over the top. Yeah, Mark Breland is a fucking far more accomplished fucking fighter than Deontay Wilder ever was. One of the best amateur fighters America has ever fucking produced. Mark Breland was a fucking legend. A legend. And Mark Breland beat legitimate fucking guys as a pro. I don't think Mark has been in boxing since his name was ran into the ground. Well, it'd be hard to, right? It'd be hard to after all that shit. But, that just tells you people looking for, what's the problem when you say white pride and this is the only stuff that comes out? All this racist shit. Why is it wrong to be proud to be white? And why is every fucking thing that potentially is related to being proud and white racist? Like, what the fuck, man? It's ridiculous. It just shows you everything you need to know about the problems in the world. Everybody else can have everything unless, where are we? Oh, I was looking at Mark Breland. Where are we? Come on, Mark. Mark Breland. That was a great fucking Olympic team. Great Olympic team. $35, 3-1, 25 KOs. Knocked out 3 times, 6'2", with a 77-inch reach. What a monster. Who are some of the people he beat in his career? Right are the amateurs. John Roldan lost to Marlon Starling. Had a draw with Marlon Starling. Rafael Pineda, when he was undefeated, beat Lloyd Honeyghan. Lost to Aaron Davis. Lost to Jorge Varca. He fought Buck Smith, man. 179, 9-2. Daryl Lattimore. Yeah, he fought a lot of fucking weak opposition, too, once he was in the pros. But as an amateur, what's his amateur resume? Of course, BoxRec shows you shit, but, 55-1. 33 KOs. Think about that in the amateurs. 33 fucking knockouts on 55 fucking wins. Like, you don't see heavyweights with that many knockouts as an amateur. Like, he's another guy who fucking peaked early in his career. Brittany Griner got into some hot water over saying racist stuff. It wasn't just the racist shit she said. She fucking threw an elbow off of Caitlin Clark's head. And do you think she got suspended? Do you think she got fucking kicked out of the game? No. And then she says fucking, something white girl, blah, 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 white girl on the bench. And it was like, that fucking big fucking dyke cunt should still be rotten in fucking jail in Russia, right? America's government went out of their way to bring her back to the country, and she's still an entitled bitch that believes that somehow people owe her something. Nobody owes her fucking anything. Dumb cunt. Don't get Sean started on the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. I told you early in the video, you weren't here, Jay. This year it's projected that the WNBA is going to make $1 billion. $1 billion. Why is it making $1 billion? Because of fucking Brittany Griner? Fuck no. Because of Caitlin Clark. $1 billion. This would be the first year that the WNBA has made a profit going into their collective bargaining agreement. So all these fucking dyke bitches like fucking Brittany Griner and the rest of them, the big contracts they're going to be getting in the future, all thanks to fucking Caitlin Clark. So they better fucking just say, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Brittany liked to get gender reveal on that. Something don't add up with him. I looked up to Breland was 110-1 with 73 KOs in the amateurs. Think about that. 73 KOs and 110 wins. That shit's crazy, man. Nobody does that shit in the amateurs. Nobody. Like, that dude was like Tommy Hearns in the amateurs. So long behind that jab, hitting motherfuckers with that long right hand. They're using race to promote it. The problem is they're not using race to promote it. They're using race to kill it, right? Like, they end up doing that whole thing, basically calling all Indiana Fever fans racist. Indiana Fever fans, the majority of fucking people there are children and young girls. There's nothing racist about them. They're young girls that are there because they aspire to be like Caitlin Clark. Not to say there's no racists there, but you could literally say that about every single fucking sporting event in the United States. But because, of course, Caitlin Clark is there, they got to attach this racial negativity to fucking it, right? Whereas these other fucking racist bitches in the league who are totally fucking racist, they get a pass because, of course, right? If you're not white, you can say anything and you'll get a pass. I think Tank beats Roach, and if Pac-Man beats Barrios, it sets up a perfect Tank versus Pacquiao at 147. Oh, God fucking no. Let's pray to fucking God that shit doesn't happen. The last thing I want Tank Davis is to get a Manny Pacquiao fight. Benavidez getting Cullum next now. Is it true? From what I heard, that's not going to happen. And in truth, if I was Callum Smith, why would I fucking go to the States to fight David Benavidez? What do I have to win? Right now, I'm in mandatory position for a title already, right? Which means I would get the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev for 3-belt unification. So why would I go to the States to fight fucking David Benavidez when I could sit there and wait for Turki Al-Sheikh money in Saudi Arabia in a unification fight? And if I don't do that, I can always have a homecoming fight in Liverpool, who just won the fucking championship in soccer. So, the fans are all big. They'd love to have him fucking fill out Liverpool Stadium, right? And do huge crowd. Or he could fight Anthony Yard in the O2 Arena, which would also do huge numbers and be pay-per-view in the UK. Bruce Gass in the house. Hearns hardly had knockouts in the amateurs, something like 100 wins with only 10 KOs. Manny made a puncher out of him. Pac-Man will not beat Barrios. Of course he won't. Springwater boxing, I'm trying to be optimistic, but you're probably right. Well, if optimism means fighting Tank Davis afterwards, I hope he loses. So what does David do if no Callum or Yard? I guess a stay busy fight versus Ben Whitaker, perhaps in the UK. No fucking way. He ain't going to the UK. I'm a Vegas fighter. I don't want to go fucking to Saudi Arabia and get paid millions of dollars. No, I'm a Vegas fighter. This is my fucking fan base here. You're going to go fight Whitaker and fucking in the UK? He'll fight some bum-ass opponent in the US. Probably Hart. I know Hart's not a bum-ass opponent, but it's always going to be something like that. Or potentially he's just going to go fucking fight Zerto at cruiserweight because he don't fucking want to fight Bivol. He never wanted to fight Bivol or Beterbiev. If he did, he would have fought fucking Smith on the undercard in Saudi Arabia for fucking millions of dollars and a guaranteed fucking undisputed unification fight, potentially earning you an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez down the road, right? Like literally you walked away from everything to walk towards nothing. And Mirage is going to jump in any second and try to defend it. Right, Mirage? Right. Shouldn't Pacquiao be president of the Philippines by now? What the hell is he doing fighting? The problem is the Philippines, like many countries, is controlled by people that are uneducated. Not controlled, sorry. The vote is voted by people that are uneducated, kind of like the US. So they're so easily brainwashed and manipulated that what they do is they always vote for the same fucking people again and again. So they voted for fucking a prime minister son who fucking was their prime minister before. Because countries that are third world love to do that, right? Oh, his mother was president. Let's vote for him. Oh, his father was president. Let's vote for him. Kind of like Trudeau in Canada. And it was like, if the father fucking wasn't great, why do you think the son is going to be better? Or the daughter? Like, maybe try somebody new. And yes, probably not Manny Pacquiao, because I don't know if you want Manny running your fucking country. I mean, that probably wouldn't be the fucking best thing to do. Manny is uneducated, never fucking finished high school, but somehow you want him to be your president. It's probably best that they didn't vote for him. I do like the Zerto fight, though. That's a pound for pound stuff. Beating a unified champion just doesn't make much sense since he just got the 175. I know, but this is not about sense. It's about PBC fucking doing what they think is profitable, right? So don't be surprised. Then they could say, oh, yeah, he's pound for pound number one. He's a three-way world champion. Jose, what's up? Good morning, Sean. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, young man. I'll do my best. Day in and day out. But speaking of that, I got to work tomorrow, and it is nighttime here. So thanks, everyone, for jumping in. I'm going to call it a day. I will see you guys probably this weekend live, because that PBC card is going to be on Amazon. So I can watch it here on my TV. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So stay tuned. I will see you Saturday night your time, Sunday morning my time, for that half-assed PBC card with fights that I'm not really that intrigued to see anyway. But maybe it'll surprise me. Maybe they'll be better than I expect. We will see. But thanks, everyone. Have a good week, and I'll see you this weekend. Cheers. Have a good one. Peace out.